All right, here we go. Great, the delay on here is going to get me going into my chair. At least I have pants on. All right. Turn off my air conditioner so we can actually hear. Let's get ready to start this live show, and I realize I don't have anything to drink. Okay. And I got a couple new toys today. So I have this cool little Cosas Verdes deal over here that I created, and I got some price tools that you'll like that I got from or that I saw a different YouTuber use, and it's actually gonna make things a lot easier for me and for you. Yeah, it's very efficient. So this will be, if I see me fumble around with my chart today, that might be why I'm gonna use a couple new things. And here we go. So I was thinking that Bitcoin would not resolve itself to the downside or begin showing signs of weakness until this triangle and horizontal and origin line, I guess, which makes the triangle, is hit on Bitcoin dominance in conjunction with, if I'm using the correct preposition, to tether dominance hitting this level right here around 5.5%. They both came up shy, and SPX has had what I feel was its last gasp of air, potentially one more fake out to the upside with FOMC meeting at 2 p.m. New York time on Wednesday, August 17th, and the release of economic data early. I think it's retail sales, maybe, core sales at 8:30 a.m. So tomorrow's going to be a wicked day. I've already covered this. I've already gone over the whale games in a previous video. So if you haven't seen that, you can go to my channel and just look for the thumbnail that says whale games Wednesday, something to that effect. So you're prepped for that. And just realize, though, that I think SPX has, or traditional markets have tapped out for this bull market or this bear market rally. And my targets barely came up shy. But I think that because the bear market rally is too hot, I think they're both just not going to be hit, and they almost were hit, but my boxes, so almost all of the Costa boxes are hit. These two might not be hit. So let me show you what I anticipate Bitcoin price doing tomorrow. And a disclaimer, I'm going to show you how to navigate price tomorrow and how I think it's going to move, but two forms of high impact economic data come out tomorrow. The predictability of what the charts are going to do. Bitcoin's going to follow traditional markets, so Bitcoin and crypto included. It's going to be wild. So it would potentially be more profitable to do nothing tomorrow if you trade futures or whatever you're doing. Options, not quite the same thing, but if you're trading futures, tomorrow could be more profitable to do absolutely nothing, regardless of what I show you on here. If you're the type of person who takes what I say and tries to trade, well, tomorrow's going to be tricky no matter what I say, even if it's going to be tricky. I want to forewarn you that. And I personally am going to try to enter some stuff tomorrow on my futures workshop that I have at 8 a.m. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And on Wednesday, it's open to both tiers, Cryptillions and Crypto Crackheads on Discord. So Discord links are in the description section to all my videos. And I will record that and give the recording to the Cryptillion YouTube tier as well, but it'll be a little bit late for that because it'll be in the moment type of stuff. However, I do provide the recordings for the YouTube tiers, and I'll post a little bit about it on Twitter as well, at Cosas Verdes with the number 2 afterwards. So with no further ado, reminder, tomorrow's going to be tricky. Let's go get some Bitcoin. All right. Cherry Blossom LaCroix. Here are these charts that I've been staring at for a while. I thought Bitcoin was not going to really get weak until this was hit. One of my VIPs did let me know that something about Tornado Cash, which is some, I don't know what it is. Something about, it's like a privacy stablecoin, something to do with USDC. I don't know the details behind it, but something of the idea that some people are moving from USDC to Tether, which could have caused this not to hit that. So without this Tornado Cash, so in a sense, without giving you the exact details, I'm not a fundamentalist YouTuber, right? But just to try to make sense of when news is in the charts, this could be the news that I see in the chart. Like, why would this be potentially bouncing strong here because I think this could really go up from here, right? But it's never happened before. From yellow to red, it doesn't stop in the middle and go up. It doesn't happen. And so that would mean that I'm potentially seeing news in the charts. Although right now it is lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This still could easily be hit, right? But in the event, my feeling about the traditional markets and Bitcoin, blood on the streets is potentially imminent. What would make sense of this, and why would something weird happen in the charts? Well, news in the charts, that is a possibility. And the people gobbling up USDT essentially made it not hit my natural target before Bitcoin gets weak, which Bitcoin is now looking weak. Makes sense? All right. And again, I don't know the intimate details on Tornado Cash. I'm not fudding anything. I really know nothing about it. It's just something in the news that could have created this to come up shy. Bouncing in a place where it really has no business bouncing. All right, and again, tether dominance, it moves opposite generally of Bitcoin. If this goes down, Bitcoin goes up. If this goes up, then Bitcoin goes down. And as I've covered on this channel, this time Bitcoin is moving sideways as this comes down, when Bitcoin really historically goes up when this comes down. And why? Because everything's going into ETH and layer 2s that are related to ETH, and potentially other layer 1s as well. But most money. So this is an altcoin driven downturn. So what you can see here is Tether is being deployed. Tether is being used to buy stuff, right? That's why it's going down. If I take 1,000 Tether, which is $1,000, and I buy something, well, that makes the chart technically go down. Maybe just a tiny, tiny bit, but so it's just people using Tether to buy shit, and the shit they're buying is not Bitcoin. That's all it's saying. Given that Bitcoin went sideways instead of up, generally up during this strong down move, right? So this has been an altcoin-driven rally, which maybe makes so here's why I'm saying this, and this is something I didn't cover last time I talked about this. This makes Total 2 chart that much more important. I haven't covered Total 2 in a while, and so before I go into Bitcoin, I want to cover Total 2 because I want to get my thoughts on it first and then compare, does this align with the feelings that traditional markets plus Bitcoin are giving me? And I'm going to do this fresh. I actually don't know. I haven't planned this. Hell, I didn't even have my drink ready, and I got here like 3.5 minutes late to this live show. So let's jump on Total 2 and do a quick analysis because I think it's going to be heavily important here. Putting all the pieces together. Remember, I made this chart, and you can feel free to snapshot this if you want. I've posted this on Twitter. Again, I'm closest to this with the number 2 after we're on Twitter. But I made it in early January, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. And so far, it's working out pretty well. So I was thinking a rally would happen a little earlier, but it's happened. It went down so essentially, if I just go like this, then it's on track, right? So I was just off by a little bit. Anyway, but I had it right there. Okay, perfect. So. And I'm thinking capitulation from that time, way back here when I made this. Capitulation happened between May and September. It's August. We're getting pretty close, right? Okay, so with that stated, all these things that I've mentioned or thought of in the past, what is it in the charts that is potentially showing signs of weakness? If you look at this pattern right here, just this box. Well, Tim, hey, man, we can't see anything, Tim. What are you doing to us? All right, there we go. This box, you can see that you have a clear bottom of it, right? And let's extend this, see what current price is doing to it. Current price, or just the current value of Total 2, is above it. So, because it went above this, let me zoom in. So because it went above this, I'm betting that I can hunt for something like an EMA that has been coming down that is roughly right here. And that would explain why it went above this big, massive horizontal to come up just to touch it. So when you have two important, I guess, indicators that are pretty close to each other, right, like this, and price of something, you think it's going to be resistance, like both of those will act as resistance or support, really. Price will hit the one farthest away from it and then go in the direction you're thinking if you're guessing the move correct. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to guess that there's something here like a major EMA. Weekly 10? No. So it's on top of the weekly 10. It's not that. Weekly 21? Ding, ding, ding. There we go. That didn't take very long. Okay. So the weekly 21, it still came up shy of it. And total 2. So Bitcoin dominance should begin flying up. It might not be super soon, but let's do this. And I'm not on the weekly chart. This is the daily chart, but I have on the weekly 21 EMA because I use the MTF EMA indicator, which is down here, made by FX_Massa. If you wanted to use that, and this is the weekly 21 on the daily chart. Here we go. And I am anticipating a triangle, just kind of like my Kadena analysis I've done recently. It's going to bump its head on the CMA. There's a horizontal. It's going to form a triangle, and then it's going to bust down, and it's going to. So I think Bitcoin dominance will begin flying back up when this happens. So let me draw this, something like that. Bam. All right, and let me make this a different color. I don't like white. Blue. There we go. I like green. All right, green and yellow. Extend this a little bit, something like. And you have this origin line here too, so it's not going to fall heavily like Kadena did right at the beginning. It's going to bounce there. Let me make this a little thicker and a different color so everybody can freaking see it. There we go. So you have an origin line. So it's not going to fall off a cliff. So usually I would say this is going to fall off a cliff, but it's going to fall off a mini cliff. It's going to hit a ledge, and then it's going to come off the ledge. So you have essentially a cliff with a plateau, and then it's going to come down. And around this area from here to here, Bitcoin dominance should be starting to go up. Now, Bitcoin dominance going up, Bitcoin dominance goes up the most when Bitcoin's going down. Bitcoin price is going down, but the dominance goes up. So keep that in mind. This could end up being a pretty good indicator for the next leg down. So let's see how much time that would have. That would be 17 days in the future, potentially. Next couple weeks, late August, September. That makes sense. And what did the beginning of this say that I wrote back in January? Let's go to fair market path. What did I say? So to September. It would align with that. All right. And with my Bitcoin analysis, I've been talking about how SPX is your main indicator for Bitcoin right now. And before you can get a total bloodbath, let's go to this chart. Before you can get a total bloodbath, you have to bounce on the daily 89. It has a 100% hit rate essentially in the last 40 years of traditional markets, both for Nasdaq. So when you have a bear market rally and you go above it, so a lot of times you get a clean rejection, right? I've covered this a lot on my channel. You get a clean rejection, or when you go above it, you do a double or a triple bounce on top. I don't think there's one case in the last 40 years where you go above the daily 89, which again, remember, for Bitcoin and traditional markets, particularly the indices, right? Maybe not so much Apple or Amazon, even though I think it has something to do with it, but the indices of traditional markets and Bitcoin, a lot of crypto, your bear market rally target is the daily 89. There are only three general ways that, for traditional markets, there are two ways that price interacts with it. Either get a clean rejection or you get above it, and then you bounce on it a couple times before you then go down, right? But you don't, in traditional markets, what you don't historically get is a clean and normal looking failure pattern. Failure pattern means this, just a quick recap, is if price of something is coming up to a resistance, right? Coming up to a resistance, damn it. If this is resistance, price is racing up to it. This is a rejection right there, okay? That's a rejection. It hit its head on it. And a failure pattern is the same thing, but you just move it up like that. And you usually come below it and then bump your head on it. And a lot of times you do, a rejection, failure, rejection pattern, or simply a failure. Sometimes it consolidates like this. This is a common one, just a rejection, failure pattern. Failure, then rejection pattern. Very, very common. All right. And so you don't get a failure pattern above the daily 89 in traditional markets. You don't get it. When you come back down to it, so this would be a failure pattern coming up and then going down below the daily 89, which is your bear market indicator, like bear market rally indicator for traditional markets and Bitcoin. You don't get this. You get this on Bitcoin a lot. This happened 3 times in 2018. Like go to Bitcoin. Let's go to a cleaner chart. I think it might have only been twice, but let's go back. Watch. See that? Actually, it was. So let's call this once. Nope, this was a double bounce. Got above, bounce. So this is like traditional markets. That's what traditional markets does right here. Every single time that it gets above, right? And this is a perfect failure. This is a big failure pattern. So, well, that kind of looks like support, but don't mind that one candle. Like failure, it gets way above and comes. This is a perfect failure pattern. Goes right above and slams down below. That is a failure pattern, right? This does not happen in traditional markets per this purple line. This has never happened once. I don't anticipate it being the first time ever. Could it be? Okay, but so here's another moment where Kosa said, I did 100x long on something when it hit the daily 89. And I got liquidated and, I lost my house and I got divorced and my dog died. Whatever. All right, I don't wish that upon anybody, but I don't want to hear that. Like, it could be the first time it happens in however many years, decades I backtested it. It could. It's just statistically not probable. So don't do anything crazy or overly risky when, in terms of being long for a counter trend trade to the upside when SPX and Nasdaq indices hit their daily 89, okay? I can't guarantee that a failure pattern won't happen on it. It's just statistically pretty improbable, okay? All right, even though it happens on Bitcoin. So on SPX, and this is all aligning back to that 17 days. So I'm connecting this to the total 2 I just showed you, right? Like, okay, so 17 days, this and that. Okay, does this make sense with what's going on here? So now that I've covered this part, let's put on, so this is also, this is a cleaner chart. All right, now, let's take a look at if you just get some bounces like this. Okay, a double bounce. How many days would this take? That's 38 days. Can I shorten this up a little bit? Maybe. So Bitcoin would start getting weak about right here. So from current price, boom. Well, I might need to use the other chart. Hold on. This doesn't have gaps on it. So let's go. Let's go like this. All right, daily 89. If we go up, bounce, bounce, third bounce. There we go. All right, Bitcoin would start getting really weak about here, let's say. Nope, that's still over 30 days. Let's go back. So I'm not getting a perfect alignment on this. Let's see what I might have been missing here. Total 2. Here we go. So this is insinuating that total 2. Ooh, this is what I missed. I missed this. It's gonna linger around. So it's insinuating that this. Let's try it again. The origin line with the bottom of that box. Okay, so this is, and let's see if this gives me closer to 30 days. Boom, 36 days. There we go. All right, so now they align. So it looks like total 2 will get stuck between the bottom of this. So as this horizontal approaches this origin line, price won't want to go below the origin line until the weekly 21 and this act as rejection at the same time, and boom, it has nowhere to go. It's either got to get above the horizontal and this line, or it's got to go below this origin line. So support and resistance are like a pressure cooker, like nowhere to go, nowhere to go, nowhere to go, and then boom. So that is what I see happening there, which means, unfortunately, Bitcoin and Ethereum might chop sideways until the middle of September. Oh, that's going to suck. I really want a strong trend soon. I'm dang it. I was just talking to my VIPs on how I think by next Wednesday we could have a good trend to trade, and I could start trading more aggressively, offer more trade alerts, because I've let everybody know I'm not doing trade alerts during this choppy sideways movement last 10, 11 days, which has been a great choice, by the way, because I don't trade altcoins on futures very much, and that was the only way to really trade, because all the money's been going into altcoins, right? And I don't trade those very heavily. I do mostly Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Cardano on futures. And so this is insinuating more choppy sideways action, folks. And, it really stinks, but there's good news. There's something, good. If this were to happen, just realize, hey, you're here now listening to it. So you're anticipating a decent chance that doing nothing or doing nothing in terms of especially not losing money in futures, doing nothing could be very profitable, or among the most profitable things possible. So at least you've heard it here, and you anticipate it. And number two, the good thing about more sideways is it gives you more time to stop staring at the chart so damn much. Really. So until total 2 is fallen below this line, there might not be a strong trend until then. And however, it could fall below this line faster than I'm anticipating, because I'm really feeling that Bitcoin is looking weak. And there's something concerning with crypto right now that if you've noticed, SPX, let's actually just go to SPX. So that's kind of in thought. So the charts are kind of indicating another month of sideways, unfortunately. But look at SPX. The whole Cosas Verde said thing, I think it's overextended. However, in hindsight, if this is one of those times that all-time highs are broken, I'm simply going to be wrong here. So there is some percentage chance, I don't know what the percentage is, that this happens, and it really does not pull back to here. However, even in those cases where traditional markets made an all-time high and that rally wasn't a bear market rally, it was when you started going up and making all-time highs or local highs, right? It still tested this as support. And so the weird and unfortunate thing about Bitcoin that I've been seeing, so with all those possibilities here, is that Bitcoin has been underperforming the stock market, mainly because Ethereum is getting all the money and altcoins. But Ethereum's mainnet release or whatever they're doing, merge, or I don't know what the jargon is. I'm not a fundamentals, I'm sorry. But my VIPs were just educating me on those dates, and they think it's going to be, they're saying it's reported to be middle to mid-late September. So Bitcoin, until mid-late September, until that happens, Bitcoin can continue underperforming the market. So if SPX, so connecting a lot of dots here, if SPX comes down to here, all right, to this line, that's 5.5%. Usually Bitcoin moves, let's say 3 times as much as SPX does. But if it's underperforming it, while this corrects, it's going to do more than 3 times that vector. So like this arrow will be 3 times as big on Bitcoin, right? Normally. But if Bitcoin's underperforming, it's going to be 3 times plus some, right? So let's measure down 20%. It's possible. Because of Ethereum's move, it's possible that the downside exposure to Bitcoin during a normal and healthy correction on markets, it could bring Bitcoin down pretty far. It has the chance. So let's go to a cleaner chart. And so just keep this in mind. And I haven't hit the small time frames yet for Wednesday. I apologize. Let's see here. What did I say about 20%? That's that origin line. Damn, that'd be wicked. Really. So it is possible that the downside exposure for Bitcoin as SPX is getting ready to bounce. It's possible it goes under 20K. And here's that new tool that I saw another altcoin YouTuber use, and I was like, this is awesome. All right. So it could go as low as this as traditional markets simply have a normal correction. I don't think it would go that low, right? I'm thinking more along the lines of 21.4, which I'll show you that here in a second. But this would be as low as I see Bitcoin going at. So, and again, keep your eyes on SPX daily 89. You're probably going to get a bounce there. I can't guarantee it. But the two areas that I can see Bitcoin hanging out because of it, so I'm putting all these dots together. Ethereum and altcoins are sucking up all the money. Bitcoin is underperforming the market. It's going to have a bigger move down. There's more downside exposure than upside. I'm trying to figure out where will it go with the assumption that I'm right with traditional markets. This is as low as I see it going as SPX hits the daily 89. My main guess is on this chart right here. Which is looking very, very busy. But if you just don't look at all this crap up here, it's this line down here. I could see Bitcoin pulling all the way back to 21.4. And if I zoom out even more, it's horizontal support. Well, actually, horizontal support's down here. But it's the bottom of this channel, ascending channel line. And that would be the key. Now, will Bitcoin get a reversal, go to all-time highs and all that stuff after that? You know, if it were to hit that, I'm not saying that. However, I would expect some type of bounce, perhaps at least to, touch the bottom of the point of control. It could be a really playable bounce. Let's check that out. 8%. All right. And that's tradable. Now, Bitcoin going into tomorrow. Here we're going to cover the short-term time frames, and I'll wrap up on Bitcoin since I've been blabbing about 30 minutes here. It's going to be tricky tomorrow. Let me give you a visual on all the things that are kind of happening in the chart right now so you can feel better prepared for the stupid crap that's going to happen tomorrow. And I'm telling you, stupid crap will happen, okay? It's going to happen. I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart, really zoom in here, and we're going to digest what is on this chart. Very, very small time frames. So you can visualize support with this, with these. So imagine this is like a cushion or a trampoline or a pillow or whatever. And a larger pillow has more cushion, right? But if you break through or break above a large cushion, that typically creates that requires a lot of volume, and you could get a very serious move because of it, right? So Bitcoin is trapped between two large cushions. This large cushion is created because Bitcoin went below the origin line, which is a very, very important line, this blue line here, and it went below the weekly 10 EMA. It flipped it from support, all like for days and days, to resistance. Here, let me, here. Resistance here. See that? And so you have origin line with weekly 10 sort of kind of close together. And so I'm creating one big cushion essentially between those two, but I'm moving it in the future like this, right? For tomorrow. Because here is tomorrow. Look at this. So Wednesday, August 17th is marked by these two vertical lines. This is the release number 1 of high impact data. This is release number 2. This is when Jerome Powell goes freaking on camera. And weird stuff is going to happen roughly between these lines. It's going to be crazy. Okay, now, but remember from my whale game video that I put core CPI whale games, that thumbnail, but it says whale games, something to that effect. I showed you how price moves and the parameters, how far can price move. And on Bitcoin, where it's FOMC, it can move 10% from wick low to wick high in one day, right? It doesn't mean it's a 10% green day. No, it could be a 5% green day or a 5% red day. But before it ended that way, it went 5% the other direction before it came back down. So for 10% total from the total price action of that day. And you can envision that with this right there. This is 10%. And look what it's hitting. It's hitting 23.1 and 25.4. If the volatility within one day is actually, it's more like 9.7%, but it's close enough, 10%. So tomorrow could, between these lines, between this line and this line, as price gets closer and closer and closer and closer, once it gets here, it could go boom, boom, back to the middle. I'm telling you, like honestly, that might be exactly what happens. As weird as that sounds, it literally might just go doop, 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 boom, boom, back to the middle. Or it could float down to this first vector, the vertical line, and spike up. And then at the second line, that's when it floats down. Does that make sense? So there are a couple ways this could go if that shape is made. And again, I can't guarantee that shape is going to be made. But it could go boom, float down at night at 8:30, spike up, and then roughly at this area, then spike back to the middle. Or it might begin like this, which this would have to be crunched. It would have to happen faster. So things could go sideways and begin the volatility. Instead of floating down, it spikes down, then spikes up, then goes to the middle. So if you see this black box hit here on the 8:30 line, if you put 8:30 a.m. New York on Wednesday and you put a box around 24.2 actually I'll just show you. So this box spans from here. That's the parameters on this box. And that's so easy. That's so awesome. That's where this is. But if price is in here, when it crosses this line, that means that the shape of this has not begun yet and it's getting ready to start. But if this box is not hit and something like this one is, that means that shape has already begun and you're getting ready to get the spike in the other direction. That makes sense? So instead of that, you get this. If this box right here is missed for the whale gameplay. And that is your very, very short-term time frame stuff. And again, I have all this on here because I've been streaming my live chart so that the YouTube Cryptillion tier and both Discord tiers can see price bounce on these levels in real time. So they can make, whatever decisions they're making with spot trading triads or futures trading on different alts. So it's a little bit busy of a chart, but if we want to go to a cleaner chart, this is your daily 89. This is your weekly 10. If we want to do August 17th, I just can't make it land on freaking 8:30 for the life of me. There you go. All right. And yeah, so this daily 89 is roughly the top of that 10% range. And then 21.3 is right about here. So tomorrow, if we want to see this done a little more cleanly, the lowest I could see it going, this is not for tomorrow. This is so this down here is how low I think Bitcoin can go as SPX hits its daily 89. But for tomorrow, price could hit this line, hit the daily 89, which is coming up here, and then come down. This would be roughly a 10% range from here to the daily 89. Whoa, why is that so big? I'm messing up. Oh, no. It was 23.1. I apologize. It was a horizontal. I messed up. 23.1. I'm so sorry. 23. It's 23.1. It's the point of control. Sorry. So let's do this. So that's the bottom. There we go. All right. So for tomorrow, yeah, that's roughly 23.1. For tomorrow, I could see this play right here. Boom. Daily 89 back down. And here's the daily 89 right there. And let's measure that out. That's about 9%. It could literally be this volatile tomorrow. And so be very, very careful. And again, I can't guarantee that's what's going to happen. I mean, hell, tomorrow it could do something completely different. It could spike up and then slam down, make a lower high, then slam down more. So it might not be a true trick play. It could get continuational tomorrow. However, the trick plays, like Bitcoin price has specifically been going sideways as traditional markets have been floating up. So it almost feels like the big players who are going to piss around with crypto and make their algos do the same thing they're doing for the big stocks and the indices. I think they're saving their firepower on crypto for tomorrow. So I think it's going to be an 8 to 10% range. And it's going to be very unpredictable, but at least now we've honed in on what is the realm of possibilities on both sides. What's the extreme? What happens in the middle? I don't know if there's going to be much TA because it's literally it's very high speed, very expensive algos that are doing it, and you can't out trade it over time. It's not possible for humans to really out trade that on short time frames. You can't do it, so you might not want to try crazy stuff in the middle of those extremes tomorrow. But if you see either extreme hit, that's where you begin to have an edge over those algos, because we can correctly or hopefully identify where the extremes of the algos are. And this is so either you start having edge if it hits this, and you have an edge over the algos if it hits this. 23.1 and 25.2. That's when you have an edge. Anywhere in the middle tomorrow trading with high frequency shit that's going to happen, that's going to create volatility just for the sake of volatility, you won't have an edge. Even if it's the weekly 10, it's not going to matter. It's going to be between there, and like anything between those, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be unpredictable, and it's not going to follow rules. It's going to be like going to another universe, and your universe you re-enter your universe on either side of these two things, right? Or you re-enter it on the time axis after the FOMC craziness settles down, and now you're back in reality. All right, and so I gave you fair warning for tomorrow. If you're somebody who's clicking around with his or her money, Wednesday's going to be tough, and that is what I got for Bitcoin. Now, Ethereum price has been really starting to cool off. I don't want to cover that. That was for my VIPs. All right. Actually, I'll re-record that part. Hold on. Ethereum price has been getting really doggish. Really doggish. Let's dive into a quick Ethereum analysis since this has been really what's going on. All right, I'm seeing two liquidity bubbles for tomorrow. Let me put on the daily 10. Bam. All right, so what we're seeing on this chart here is the weekly 10 in red that I've extended, the daily 10, right? And that's what is essentially regulating price, for the lack of a better term. These zones up here are where I think Ethereum price can go tomorrow and in the near future, but tomorrow for the whale game fakeouts. This is going, so especially around night. So what's the top of this guy? The top of this guy is about almost 1990. I think this is the upper extreme of what, gosh, let me measure this. Hopefully that's not much more than, or much less than 5%. Oh yeah, it's 6%. Yeah. So I think tomorrow could see Ethereum spike all the way up for a fake out only, all the way up to 1990. Because you're going to have a lot of people hiding their stops for shorts in this area. So they're going to think this, all right, let me zoom in. Let me show you what's going to happen or potentially happen. And again, this is per my Bitcoin analysis that I just talked about. So if you haven't, if you're seeing the recording of this, you need to watch my Bitcoin analysis because I just went over all of this, and it'll make a lot more sense. But a lot of people are going to say, "Hey, this is going to act as resistance, and price should, if it comes up here, I'm going to be safe with my stops in this area." So a lot of people are going to be hiding stops here, and it's going to create a lot of liquidity, right? And so because tomorrow is Wednesday with those two high impact data stuff, I could easily see. Because the algos are going to create liquidity or they're going to create volatility just for the sake of volatility. You need to plan what are the upper and lower extremes of where they're going to create volatility, and this is it. It's this pocket of liquidity that's going to create it. They could go grab it all and then come back down and then go right back in the middle, right? But what I think is, but what you want to watch out for on Ethereum though, so I don't see Ethereum much really going over 1990. Probably, yeah, tomorrow it probably won't go over there, but it could spike up. All right, if SPX is really going to take a breather here, and there's going to be blood on the streets for, at least there's sideways / blood on the streets for crypto now, and this was the local top. Just realize what you're looking for to confirm that the rally for Ethereum is over is getting stuck under the daily 10 EMA. It has been the support that a lot of people are drawing some wedge. Let me see what they're drawing. I've seen it somewhere. Yeah, they're drawing something like, I don't know what they're doing. How do they fucking draw wedges? Whatever. They're this. You're going to see this everywhere, right? That's not really what's happening. It's this. It's the daily 10 being used as support. It overshot it once because it went too far above. And when it corrected to come, it just overshot it. That's it. And this could have been a little baby bear trap. So it's the daily 10 as support, right? So what's going to happen here, because we are seeing in the charts a potential for 30 days of sideways, let's look to see if Bitcoin or if Ethereum could get trapped and go sideways and weak under the daily 10 for that amount of time. And, but you're going to have immediate support under it. I don't like that color. Let's make it bright green. There we go. You're going to have immediate support. So let's say it gets stuck. You're going to have immediate support on this origin line, and I'll tag that price area there. And you can easily, so you have double support, but you can't get over the daily 10 EMA, and then the daily 10 pushes it down below the origin line and the weekly 10. So if Ethereum's run is over and it's going to tank, it's not going to do it all at once, because right below current Ethereum price, here, let me, there you go, 1758. Around 1760, you're going to have double support from the weekly 10 EMA, this red line, and this origin line, which is a big deal. So it's not going to go straight down. But if it comes down here and it simply is done, it's going to be the daily 10, which is your resistance. And remember, I just conducted a very similar analysis on Kadena, and it's exactly what happened. So this is roughly forming a sloppy triangle. It's like an archy triangle with the daily 10 acting as resistance. This is if Ethereum's run is over, and this is how you're going to tell. I'm not necessarily making the 100% prediction like Ethereum's over, like, no, I actually don't know. But if this was the local top, this $2,000 and the $2,008 was the local top, this is how it's going to go down. I mean, in the double sense, this is how it's going to go down. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. And then both in the double meaning. So it's all about the daily 10 instead of a wedge. The wedge, if you're trying to short it, yeah, but that's fine. But this is where it's going to bounce right back up to essentially touch the bottom of the wedge again, or more specifically, it's the daily 10. It's not the wedge. It's the daily 10. That's what's happening. And it's essentially forming a wedge. All right. That is Ethereum price, how it's going to go down. Now, to go up, though, I mean, very easy. If you can get above this pocket of liquidity up here at 1990 and use it as support, it's going to fly up to the next levels, as I've already talked about in my previous Ethereum videos. If you want to check that out, the one right before this, I showed you price paths on how it could get up here. But if 1990 is used as support as opposed to all the way to 2008, if it can get above this pocket of this area here, this is the next pit stop. And I can put a price tag right there, something to here. That will be the next area. It slows down, and that's Ethereum. All right, now for anybody who's new to my live streams, I typically can only have enough time to answer questions of the folks with the emblem next to their YouTube username, which are the folks who are in the YouTube tiers. It's either tier, they both get emblems. I typically have enough folks on here in the tiers to ask enough questions to keep me busy. But if I have extra time, I will go back to your questions. So if you see me skip your question more than once, potentially, that is why, because I'm skipping down to the emblem questions, essentially. Okay, here we go. All right. Hey, Alex Videos. Nice to see you. Hey, you got the upside down exclamation in your name. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to turn on my air conditioner for a second. Man, I cannot wait till late fall. Okay. All right. And it's a problem because my air conditioner's right. I mean, I can reach over and I'd stand up, but it's really close to my microphone. All right. But maybe in 2025, after another bull run, I'll be able to upgrade my setup here from a structural brick and mortar standpoint. Who knows? Okay. But nice to see you here, Alex. Here we go, Karina. No way. I wouldn't have guessed. Alright, I always start off. Yeah, let's just start off with Karina. No, I'll start with Ape so I can have more cold air blowing on me for a second. Hold on, before I turn off and then I'll record Karina. So I'll do ApeCoin first. So the question is from OTA, Ape USDT. Below its daily 10. Perfect rejection from this area. Wow. Okay. Ooh. You're gonna have a cliff here. You're probably gonna bounce, but once it goes below this, it's really gonna accelerate. So there, that's your lower and upper point on this box. Something like that. There you go. That box right there. Once you fall below 541, whew, it's really gonna tank. But you're probably gonna get a bounce. So where would it bounce up to? Probably not very high. And this is under the assumption that my downside bias is correct. I could be wrong. I mean, it could bounce from here and make all-time highs. I want to be very clear with that. It is possible that stock market gets, like, it does a double top like Bitcoin did. It really is possible. And in that case, once SPX hits its daily 89, this would come down to here, and then it would potentially be off to the races for a little bit. It wouldn't hit all-time highs or anything, but it would break above... it would definitely go, in that case, above this local high here. It is an option, or it is a possibility. What else on ApeCoin? Yeah, it's following the daily 10 perfectly. Like, honestly, the daily 10 is where it's at for this coin. If you're not using the daily 10, I mean, you're not looking at this correctly. This is, and Trias is using the daily 10 as well. Yeah, this is. Didn't work out perfectly here. This is normal. But once you go below it and use it, so let's zoom into this. So like, watch. So for real short-term time frame trading stuff, if I can find out where I circled it. Where's my circle? There it is. So watch. So if you're trading this on really small time frames, support, lost support, failure pattern, zoom way in. Look, it's like literally the same thing every time. Watch, everybody. Look. So once you broke support, that automatically means you have a statistical edge that your next oscillation up on that time frame will create a lower high. if you're using something specific as support and the next time you come to touch the support, you lose it, but you still have a move up, it's going to be a lower high to whatever just happened. And then the next time, you're going to also go below it. And if you go below it, you have an increased chance of using it as resistance, and then it tanks. You see how it started accelerating right here at the daily 10? It's not a coincidence because people are using it. Like, and that's why I said at the beginning, if you're not using the daily 10 on Ape, then you're not looking at it right. Like, this is what you could literally just trade off the daily 10 and nothing else. And with lower high, higher low structure, or just higher low, just structure with lows and highs, you honestly could just use that with one indicator and trade it rather well for general direction. Getting reversals and stuff might be more challenging, but right here you broke, so you would stop being short after this area is broken. So broken, you would expect so after this is broken, I would have expected a lower high on this angle. It went a little bit below it though, but I would have tried longing and picking some up there and expected to continue, which is what happened. Yeah, that's really all you need. So the daily 10, let's go out on ApeCoin with these horizontals is probably where it's at. So as long as you have these two horizontals on, like so, with the daily 10, you're good to go. And so you're going to know where it's probably going to bounce and then how it interacts with this line, damn it, is going to tell you if it's going to drop below here. Because if it can't get back above the daily 10, as this white line goes closer and closer, it's going to crash. But if you see it get above the daily 10 as it gets closer, and you see price bounce, shit, I keep accidentally right clicking, bounce, get on top of it, break this high, just wait for one more higher low, and then you can get into that and it's going to take off. It could bounce from here, but conversely, if you see it come down here and hit this and it does a failure pattern, and when it, god dang it, and then when it comes back to it, it can't use it as support, it's probably going to do another failure pattern, then resistance, and then it's going to come down. Because this let me make this a different color. Because the daily 10 EMA at that time would push it down like this. Like so. How it interacts with the daily 10. And great. There you go. Alright, so that's 8. Now I'm going to do Kadena. Yeah, ApeCoin's an easy read. And honestly, that's what you want. For example, Ethereum has been hard as hell. I stopped trading it. Like, I love trading Ethereum, but I even let my community know, like, this is not predictable. It's volatile. That's just great. You need volatility, but you also need predictability. It has been horrible to trade until probably yesterday. I think it started becoming more predictable per my video. But honestly, if this has enough liquidity, this is a good one to either spot trade or, to pick as a futures altcoin. I personally don't like trading like things that are way more volatile than Bitcoin and Ethereum, but this was pretty predictable. I mean, I like this chart. I like how it moves, and I can tell that it's not dominated by well-designed algos that are also playing the stock market and Bitcoin. This is less affected by Bitcoin on the fake-out moves that are going to wiki out and everything. However, bummer about it is the natural increased volatility is the stuff that can wake you out, but at least it's overall pretty freaking natural. I like the chart. I actually might start trading that. I'm glad you asked me to look at that. It looks really nice. And I think it's big enough to. I thought that was on futures. So anyway, all right. So let's go to. Everybody loves Kadena, so let's go check out Kadena Price. And I did a follow up already on, you know, how Kadena took almost the exact one of the two price paths I proposed. I proposed one downside one, and it took the downside price path. So let's go check out how it's going to bounce around as it hits my lower targets here. Kadena, where are you? Here we go. I don't need those anymore because I have this new fancy tool. Boom, bada, bang. There you go. Top and bottom of it. Right there is probably where it's going. This is your next support. And this here is just showing that crypto loves roughly 45-degree angles. That's where higher lows form. And you match it up with horizontal, that's where it's going. And I drew this here before so again, I drew this before this all happened, before this triangle broke down, and before, actually this triangle is out of place. I think I had it like this. Anyway, because I had it at the origin line specifically. I must have dragged it somewhere. Anyway, before it broke down out of this triangle, I had this here, expecting it to hit, because it loves 45-degree angles and loves horizontals. That's so buyers. So the reason why I can tell that's where it's going, again, not just Kadena, anything, is you got to realize, where are buyers going to step in? And it's not just that buyers. It's where are different groups of buyers who are looking at totally different things. When do they all want to step in? When are multiple groups of different people looking at totally different things? When are they going to see the same level at the same time? And it's this. So you're going to get some sort of bounce from there. Obviously save, and if Bitcoin just tanks, right? Because algos just sell 30 or $100 million of Bitcoin. Yeah, it's going to fly through here. But so without anything crazy like that happening, different groups of buyers are going to step in between these two areas here. Will it create all-time highs after that? No, I'm not saying that. It's just it could be it could be a baby bounce. Like it might just go. It could be a really weak fart. It might not be very big at all, but it could also come all the way back up to the bottom of this black triangle on a rally. I would say about that high. But between, yeah. And so this is where it's going to bounce. I'm not going to guess how high the bounce is going to go because I don't know how SPX is going to behave. So because SPX, let me say something about this. There actually is an increased chance that this doesn't hold, and it could just do like a baby fart and then break through, because SPX and traditional markets, I think they're at the point where they need to correct. So the timing of Kadena could create a lot more downside than what it would have had it waited to do this correction, right? Had it waited just 2 days to do this, it could have created a whole drastically different story where this holds with a strong, a mid-sized correction in the stock market. But because it's already here, right as SPX did its last gasp of air up and then might start correcting, it hasn't even begun this correcting, and Kadena's already here. If Kadena's here while SPX begins correcting, it has the chance to really fall through it without much of a bounce at all. So I want you to be prepared for that. So again, closest fair, they said, this level 100x, oh, I'm ruined, oh, he sucks. No, I'm letting you know right now, SPX is getting ready to correct. This level has the chart for just this chart. Yes, it would bounce, but the context around it, with traditional markets being way overheated in a bear market rally, it could either fall through or it has the chance of just doing a baby bounce and then crashing through. It's possible. So all eyes on SPX per my I tie it all in with my Bitcoin video. So you haven't seen my Bitcoin recorded video from Tuesday, August 16th, and even the day before, you need to watch those so you can have the context of Kadena price. It's all about SPX. I promise you, it's just as an important indicator for Kadena as anything that you can pull up on Kadena. Besides my videos, maybe, because I'm talking about SPX, right? All right. And so I don't want to guess how big this rally's, how big the bounce is going to be, because I can't freaking tell what is going to happen on SPX, particularly leading tomorrow with FOMC and core retail sales data released. So, but these are the levels here, and you can have the upper extremes too. So in tomorrow's wickedness, 10% range. Let's see here. So let's see. It's the oh yeah, yeah. So tomorrow alone, it could hit both. This is almost the perfect range. Will it do exactly that tomorrow? Maybe not. But this is the general pattern I expect Bitcoin to follow in a 10% range from here to here. And honestly, look, that's about a 14% range on Kadena. That could easily happen. So tomorrow could be a wicked day to trade Kadena. It could be really good because you have your highs, you have your upper and lower extremities just for Wednesday kind of identified. But beyond Wednesday, this could break if SPX starts really correcting on Thursday, the 18th, and after. That's when this horizontal could really, really break. I don't think it's going to break on Wednesday the 17th. I think it has a stronger chance to dick around with the whale algos and trading desks along with traditional markets. But Thursday and beyond, it could break. All right, and then I don't want to make many guesses on Kadena besides that because traditional markets are at a juncture, and I have to wait to see what happens Wednesday and Thursday before I make any more educated guesses on Kadena. But here are your levels of importance. If you want me to drag this boy up here, there you go. That's about 210 up there. All right, that's Kadena. Are these price things cool? I think they're pretty neat. I can't believe, first off, I can't believe I didn't know about it. But second, I can't believe they're not more used. So glad I actually was doing fundamental research on Kadena. And during that, I saw somebody pull this stuff up, and I was like, how the hell does he do that? I thought he was editing his videos to pop them in, but then I saw him just click, and I was like, that's not a video edit. He did that, and I figured it out. And it only took me about 30 seconds to figure it out. But yeah, they are spiffy. Spiffy. All right. Yeah, the ring of ice. Yeah, I made this. I stole the general Ring of Fire GIF from just a quick Google search, and then I dragged my logo inside of it. Here. And then I recorded an MP4 video of it, and then I converted the MP4 to a GIF, or a GIF. I say GIF. And then when I dragged it on here, the blending mode is screen. So normally it looked like that. So you can see the whole square and everything, right? Oops, wrong thing. But I screen blended it. And it, oh, no, that's me. Whoops. Oh no, how do I undo that? Damn it, I shouldn't do this live. There we go. All right. That's actually kind of cool. Shit, I should do ghost mode. Here, let's check this out. There we go. I'm ghost mode, bitches. I like it. Cool. All right. Anyway, it's neat. Let me try one more. Let me fart around one more time. Then I'll answer some questions. This is ghost mode right here. This is scary movie mode. Nope, all of them look pretty similar. All right, here we go. I'm done messing around. Sorry. Yeah, it took me maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes to do all those steps. I figured that out. All right, here we go. Permission to pump. XRP has permission. Okay, so here's a non-community member. I'm going to answer that question because all right. Do you think XRP has permission to pump? Okay, I'm going to answer it because you clearly watched my channel and you're using my lingo. So, do you think XRP has permission to pump while BTC goes down? I like its chances. Doge was lagging behind and pumped. XRP has been in a tight range. Okay, that is a good question, actually. So the question about XRP is, using essentially my lingo, is does it have permission to pump even if Bitcoin floats down unaggressively? Is my understanding of the question. Can XRP continue to go up since it has momentum? All right, so let's take a look at XRP, and here we go. And again, these are this big black box. I didn't mean for price to do this in it. This was an accident. So I covered XRP a while back saying, hey, it's going to hit the bear market targets are these three. It's going to hit one of these three, and that's probably going to be the bottom. Obviously, if it hits this one, it'll go through this one and through this one and through this one. So, just because it hits this one doesn't mean it's the bottom, right? One of these three boxes will likely get the bottom. And honestly, now that it's gone sideways so long, I need to adjust this and go like this, which increases the bottom target, really, because these are ascending lines. So now my bottom target probably won't go under 20 cents now. All right, but it just stayed in the damn thing. So it's hovering on both sides of this origin line is what's happening, right? That's how I made these boxes. These are my origin lines floating out on it. Let's get rid of this guy. And there you go. So these are my origin lines for XRP, right? And the bottoms, they just happen at origin lines, right? See this? Origin line. See this big coronavirus dump? Origin line. Origin line. Same origin line. Massive wick down. Where'd it go? The origin line. Where did this massive wick go? Origin line. The same one. Look at this. Like, these lines work. So these lines will work. Like, it's going to get the bottom target. That's the bottom will happen on one of these. It could be one below it, but it'll happen on an origin line with an extremely high probability. Okay, but it just got trapped on both sides of it in the box I drew, which is kind of weird. So does it have permission to go up? So that piece, before I answered your question, that was my credibility portion of it, because I don't cover XRP a lot. For XRP fans, I drew this box quite a long time ago, and I did not actually mean for this to happen. This was a convenient mistake. Okay, permission to go up. Well, you haven't used this as support yet. Got rejected by it. So from a structural standpoint, not really. However, you do have a chance that the daily 10... It's going to go down to about, it might even be the daily 21, not the daily 10. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be the daily 21. So, permission to go up, yeah, technically. It still could. You're going to want to focus on, maybe even put on both, the daily 10 and the daily 21. Maybe as a fill, like this might be better. 10, 20. So you might want to use an EMA fill of the daily 10. And so this might be the best way to go. So as long as you're over the EMA fill, so again, this is in EMA fill of the daily 10 and 21, so they're EMAs. If it can stay above here, you need this fill to push it above this horizontal. So you're going to form it's going to get stuck in here, and then it could pop up. So it'll be a squeeze play, right? So since you already got perfectly rejected, actually, let's zoom in. Did it actually get it perfectly? Let's see here. Yeah, seller stepped in exactly at that point. So you're going to have some support, push it up, a moving support, which are EMAs. And so that EMA of the daily 10, so I wouldn't call that permission. I think it has a chance. So this is saying it has a chance to go up. I mean, usually XRP goes down when Bitcoin goes down. So let's try to find out if there's something else in the chart that might be giving it permission to go. Because technically, Bitcoin has permission to continue going up because it's daily and 2-day and 5-day RSIs and all those indicators are still intact for an upside move. But you're saying if Bitcoin continues to go down, this has to essentially separate from Bitcoin. So let's use some of these. Honestly, this does look a lot more bullish. So this RSI really is in better shape than Bitcoin's. Bitcoin's just barely popped out a higher high. So that EMA fill plus the this daily RSI with the 12 EMA, which is the white line, if the RSI can stay above that and price can stay above the EMA fill, I think I don't know if it's permission, but you have the ability. It has the chance to go up as Bitcoin doesn't go up. Does this have a chance to go up when Bitcoin like flat out starts tanking to 21,300 target? No. But if Bitcoin just kind of floats sideways and down, it definitely has the chance. And any type of SEC news, even if it's not finalized, and it's still above the EMA fill, and the daily RSI is above its 12 EMA, which I have for folks new to my channel, because you're watching a XRP video, which I don't cover very much, I have a playlist, Learn Trading Basics. It's how to set up a chart. I show you which one this is, and it's all tagged, and it's tagged, so you can skip straight to that part of the video to get this indicator. But I would use these two things as you have the chance to go up. But as long as it's above the EMA fill and the RSI is above that, I think any type of SEC, even if it's not finalization news, that could give it permission to go up. It has a chance, and then plus permission, absolutely, it would probably go up. And it would probably stop in this box right here. So upside, down the bottom of the box, right there. And yeah, that's what we got for XRP. But I really could see XRP, it might want to reset and come all the way down to the bottom of the ascending range down here. And then the EMA fill, the middle of it right now, is right there. So if you want all these levels, there you go. See that? All right. Why are there so many decimals? Like, it's just so unnecessary. You only need 4. Like, this is honestly stupid. It really doesn't need, like, that's to the point of stupidity. I don't know why it has so many decimals. All right, it's XRP. Okay, here we go. Please take a look. Okay, ring of ice, bam, bam. I'm going to scroll down to some of these emblems to the community members. Do you think any coins or tokens have the potential to hit or exceed all-time highs before the end of the year? Very, very few. So Cornpipe is asking, can altcoins make all-time highs before the end of the year? Maybe 2. Not very many. Almost none. Honestly, it's more likely that 2 or fewer will do so. I have seen a couple that were pretty hot. Gosh, I don't think I can think of them. Can I think of them off the top of my head? Time Chronos was hot, but it wasn't near all-time highs. No. I think this year's going to be bloody. Bloody. This year's going to be nasty. I mean, most coins right now are like large caps are what, 70 to 85% down, and most small caps are 92 to 98% down right now. You would have to have something like Quant. Quant is possible, because it doesn't follow Bitcoin. You would have to get something that historically doesn't follow Bitcoin. Kind of like it has the chance of turning into the chain link of this bear market. So chain link, it floated up all of 2019/2021 and made all-time highs repeatedly. And there was only one last bear market that was making all-time highs in a bear market. Chain link was the only one. It was quite incredible. Was it aggressive? Like, 30,000, percent, kind of like, Pirate Chain R. I think that actually did 70,000. Like, no, it was nothing like that. I think it was a 6X, which was 700%. The entire bear market, like, increase was only about a 6X or so. Is there anything out there that's going to do it this year or this turn? I don't think so. Quant has a chance. How much higher does it have to go? That's only 3.7x. Quant has a chance. Time Chronos. No, that's way too far down. Oh no, that's Chronicle. That's pretty high. I don't think it's going to 8.3x. So Quant is a good one for that potential. But no, I think it's just wishful. Honestly, even if the stock market breaks all-time highs, Bitcoin will not break all-time highs right as the stock market is. And altcoins will not be making all-time highs. Ethereum maybe has a chance, but this is all a pump leading up to whatever merge it's got going on. So that rush will fade, right? So the most bullish thing I see for Bitcoin is its own standalone cycle between 17,500 up to a triple top, like 70, so potentially all-time highs, 70K, roughly a triple top, if the traditional markets do indeed go up to make a double top or squeak out one more all-time high. But altcoins, altcoins, when they go up and break all-time highs, is when Bitcoin has been going up long enough for people who have been in that whole bear market to then start taking profits, to then start buying altcoins with profits from their essentially Bitcoin trades or whatever. And then altcoins begin moving up after Bitcoin's all-time high. And then people talk about how much money they're making. That's what attracts the next retail, and then altcoins fly. But that is a lot of processes that have to happen for altcoins in general to go make all-time highs this year. It's just fucking it's unrealistic. Like it's not gonna happen. And if it happens, it's gonna be extremely few altcoins. It's not gonna be across the board. Those psychological, cultural, or global things have to happen in order for multiple, like several handfuls of altcoins to break all-time highs this year. And there's not enough time. It can't all happen. It can't. It won't. It's honestly not even possible. I keep seeing people say, Kadena, $50 end of this year. Like, I honestly think that's stupid. Or not $50. No, VRA. I keep seeing VRA $50 by the end of this year or something like that. I'm like, it's not even over a penny. Like, what are you talking about? No, that's stupid. Yeah, Kadena to $50. I mean, it's not going to happen, but it's not stupid to say that because it's like at $1 or it already hit $23 in the bull run. But I keep seeing people, VRA $50 into this year. Like, that's honestly like so unrealistic. Like it's delusional is what it is. And I've been delusional a couple times in my life on things. So I'm not saying that I'm immune to being delusional based off of emotions, because money and emotions mixed are very strong things. It makes you delusional. But there are a lot of delusional people out there. And I think if you see content being created that's pushing that thought, I think it's delusional. Because all those processes have to happen, and there's no time for that this year. Not even close. All right. XRP might have gone up like on the 2-minute time frame. Yeah, it's not going up, it's going down. Yeah, it needs to hit its EMA fill of the daily 10, daily 21. Okay. Great, thank you. Missed almost the whole show. I've been liking the live chart for YouTube members. Appreciate you leaving it up most times. Yeah. I leave it up when, nothing's happened today. So it was kind of pointless to leave it running the whole time. But yeah, when I'll probably turn it on right after this live stream, and you'll be able to see price play with these areas. And for anybody not on here, you'll have light music. You can obviously mute it if you want, but you can see like as price approaches these. For example, I let the live members know right here at 2000 hours before it ever hit this line. I had it here for a day. I said volatility will increase at this line, right? Okay, because Bitcoin was going sideways. Let me take this off. Bitcoin is going sideways. I told them, no, it's going to volatility will increase at this line. And guess what happened? Kablam! Right? So I put in little Easter eggs like that for timing of stuff, when you could expect things to move. And it generally is like a lot. I've gotten really good feedback on this. So I will continue doing it. And again, for non-community members, I will leave this running for just open YouTube Friday PM through Sunday. And you can see my chart moving, but there aren't as many trades to make on the weekend. So, but Monday through Friday, it's just for Discord. The live chart to see this move is for Discord and the Cryptillion YouTube tier only. And I post a private link to that or an unlisted video link, and you can watch it. Yeah, and you can see how price interacts with everything. And put it on the daily 10, or that's not the daily. So you can see here for the whole night, all price did was bounce between the weekly 10 and the daily 10, and I have them labeled here. Nice, and so whenever it hits it, you know what it's hitting. You can go to your own chart on the live chart, all that stuff. All right, and I usually plan out the exact levels so you can see how big the bubbles of resistances or support. This is a support one. This is a resistance one. You have a liquidity bubble. I could see a fake out coming up to here. But Wednesday, I actually should delete this because this is going to be a non-issue tomorrow because it's going to be chaos. Yeah, and just show you where everything's going to hit. And so the people watching the chart live saw this happen exactly as it happened. It hit my line to the dollar, for example, like to the exact dollar. And I think somebody on there said, after it hit twice, so I had this line here and this line here, they said, oh, Kostas is basically flexing right now. He's flexing on on price or whatever because everything's being hit to specific degrees. All right, here we go. Hex and yeah, so somebody's asking about Hex. Yeah, I'm gonna buy Hex. This probably in 2023. I don't think this downside is done yet. It's already gone below my bottom. I had 2 bear market targets already gone below it, so I might as well wait. But I can see it hitting 1 to a penny or so. I can just pull up the Hex chart real fast. But again, I made this chart way before it ever hit there. Tried to post it on Twitter to let Hexicans know that my bear market stuff is going to be hit. Like drawing a box, you better, you should probably listen. Here we go. There you go. I drew these way back here. Way back here. And it went under it. So this one's going to be, so obviously it came back up and did what? Use this one as resistance. So it's probably going to hit this line. It's going to go to 2 pennies. Since it already overshot this. So I'll probably start buying it then. Yeah, I can look at Trias. I have not covered Trias in a little bit, so let's jump right into it with no delay here. Trias is actually pretty easy to look at because it is following. Let me go down to the 15-minute chart, and I just need one EMA on. It's the daily 10 EMA. This was for a VIP that I did this, so I want to delete it first. All right, here we go. Okay. In general terms, the daily 10 is your general direction up or direction down. If price is above it, then Trias is going up. If price is below it, then it's going down. There are some nuances to it. If it's the first time going above this line, before you can determine Trias is going up, you have to use it as support. So if you go above it and come back to it, you could easily crash back below it, just like what happened here. It could not use it as support, and it was the first time going above the line. There are some rules to playing one EMA when a crypto is literally playing a single EMA, which is honestly what you want. I think it was ApeCoin was also playing this exact EMA. This is what determines buyers and sellers when they're stepping in, and they're all looking at the same thing, which is honestly what you want. You want to trade with retail. You don't want to trade against freaking algos. You'll get your ass kicked over time. All right, so now that it's gone below, right, it's going to hit something, some type of support. I'll identify this later, but the inverse was going to happen. When it comes up to touch this white line, which is the daily 10 EMA, you can't guarantee it's going to be used as resistance. So for example, it went below it. You can't guarantee it because it did fly back above, right? But you are prepared for it to be used as resistance. And by the time Trias can get back up here, these are the two levels that I see Trias at, or the daily 10, and roughly where Trias will potentially find resistance. As the white line, let me make this not so opaque. right there. As the white line is going through this box, it's going to be roughly there, and this is where Trias is potentially going to find some major resistance and then continue its journey down. It is possible, just like back here, that it flies above and you then use it as support. Okay, that's possible, but you are prepared for it exactly at these levels. You really, at this time, when it hits this, there are only two options. So you naturally feel like more in control because only two things can happen. Either it uses it as resistance, right? Or it gets fully above it and uses it as support. I guess the third one is it gets above it and then fails it. So I guess there are three. There are three possibilities here. And I'm running over and my wife's coming in. So I probably need to get off here. I'm a half hour over. But, so what is Trias going to bounce off of? Well, just look left. Look for some horizontal and then try to throw out some EMAs and see what's happening here. So, this wick down here might be too low. I don't know if it'll go all that way, but I probably want this on my chart because that's a big line. Once it hits that, it'll probably bounce to some degree, but I don't think it'll go straight there. I would say all of these wicks here, yeah, this will make price bounce most likely. Boom, boom, and you could get a nice bounce from this area. Okay, I have it labeled, and then you're going to find resistance in that area. That's it. And you'll be able to adjust to how you're thinking once you see price interact. So you can go down to like the 3-minute candles. How is price interacting with this line? So for example, here it went below it, which means your next oscillation up, you're going to make most likely a lower high and then crash back below it, then use it as resistance, which once again is exactly what happened. See this? It's the same thing on every coin. Once you lose the 10 EMA, which means you go below it, your next one is likely going to be a lower high, and then you go below it again, then use it as resistance, and that's when it really starts accelerating to the downside, which is exactly what happened. But you're going to be able to adjust how the small candles are interacting with this line, similar to how you could have easily adjusted right here, just interpreting, it finally went below, as opposed to this. It used it as support. So since it used it as support, it actually had permission to actually make a higher high than this one, but it didn't, but it had permission to. Here, it went below it, so technically it did not have permission on the next single oscillation up. Oscillation like 1, 2, 3, like this. On the next oscillation here, it did not have permission to go above this, and it didn't. Which means, since it confirmed didn't, that means you're going to go below it again and then use it as resistance, which is a very common play. So yeah, just use the daily 10 on this. It's honestly is... If this had better liquidity, I'd probably want to trade this. This is fantastic. Like, this would be potentially just as profitable as, or potentially profitable enough to consider not trading futures, but you can't really trade to the downside on this or make money on the downside. But anyway, so that is how I would play Trias, horizontals, and the daily 10, and that's really all you need right now. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need MACD. You don't need Stokes. Stokes for low time frames for the oscillations, right? So, for example, back here, the Stokes would have been nice for, okay, now that I got a lower high, are the Stokes saying, hey, the oscillation's going to end? Sure. Okay, now it's going to come down here. So Stokes are always kind of handy for timing, but yeah, daily 10, horizontals, and you're good to go. All right, cool. Yeah, my wife is Mexican too, and she's telling me, yeah,